All right. Second topic. This one comes from Twitter.
Can I say something before you get in your topic?
Oh, yeah.
While we were recording this, we have confirmation from Nick Scarpino that the contract is signed. The Kind of Funny live event is in San Francisco on May 16th. That's a Saturday. It's a 21 and over event. Follow us on Twitter. I'm sure we've been tweeting about it nonstop. Maybe at kindoffunny.com we've put up a post about it. We should film a stupid commercial.
Yeah. 316.
No?
What?
316.
316.
It's on 316, right?
No, that's March.
4/16.
May 16.
5/16.
5/16.
Oh, shit.
So that happened 2 days ago.
We're going to need to remake the image.
You all missed it.
You made an image?
We made the image, and it definitely says 316.
Jesus fucking Christ, guys.
The event
I left you alone for 2 seconds.
Oh, man.
The event was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
We got the date wrong on the Mega Man one.
Sure.
The numbers,
It happens.
for some reason, I don't see dates properly.
Yeah.
That like when there's an error, I'm just like, oh, that's right. That's good.
Things happen,
316,
man.
that's what it is.
I was excited it was 316. Yeah. All right, okay. So, Twitter user Extra1 Jr. wants to know, do a review of the first quarter of the year and if 2015 has lived up to expectations. So, yeah, when I first read this, I was like, we're not a quarter of the way through the year. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
We are a quarter of the way through the fucking year.
Right.
Essentially. I mean, give or take 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of it so far? Both from a game perspective, like playing the games, and game announcement perspective. Or game news.
It's a weird thing to say.
Game news.
Okay. I think it's important to say what were the expectations coming in. I think it was that normal thing where we're in the fall and everybody's like, well, it's a loaded up first half of the year with all these games that have been pushed. And I remember being like, well, yeah, Evolve and Bloodborne, I remember, and The Order, okay. And it's like, those have come and gone now for the most part, right? And it's just like, my expectations weren't off the chart. Like, I think when did Witcher get delayed out of March? That would have been the one first quarter part. I was like, and once that got out of there, I was like, okay.
Wasn't that last year that they announced that though? The pushback?
When it got delayed out of March?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
like, so like once that happened, I really had no expectations for this first quarter.
Because I feel like we've already gotten a couple games. We got Dying Light.
Which came out of left field. I don't think people. We had seen that at PAX and been like, this seems cool, but I don't even think we thought it was gonna be as cool as it was.
Mm-hmm. And then Evolve, which I know we didn't really get into.
Yeah, you played it though, right?
I played it, and it's what I thought it was. It's an awesome game, but it's just an awesome game that entertained me for like 3 weeks.
Gotcha.
I mean, did you get really into Left 4 Dead?
I got really into Left 4 Dead. Evolve is awesome, but it has the same issue that like Splinter Cell multiplayer always has, where it's awesome with a group of friends. Like you really have to have like you and your buddies being the hunters. Otherwise, it's just not fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, there's more to that game than I thought there was. Though there's more modes and
is that going to have like a Titanfall
variety.
thing where it just like nosedives off?
It's just kind of weird because I judge a lot of like game retention with like how many people like stream it and stuff, and just no one watches Evolve. No one really like plays or streams Evolve. Interesting. So from that point of view, from a like Twitch streamer point of view, I just haven't seen much like attention for that game anymore.
Yeah, Evolve, and I said it weeks ago in Colin and Greg Lab, where I'm like, Evolve I haven't played it, I haven't talked to anyone about it. You can just tell it is not picked up. Like, it is not caught on. People don't care about it. Like, it's obvious, just from. We get tweets every day where someone's like, well, where is this? And why don't you guys Twitch this? And we get no messages about Evolve. You look at the game sold respectably on MPD, but it seems like there's no buzz, and this is just more anecdotal evidence. If no one's twitching it, then.
Yeah. Do you think there's no buzz because they just showed way too much of it? Like, I feel like
they had way too much to explain. I don't even know why they made that game, to be honest, but it's like when they could have just made Left 4 Dead 3 or something. But I think there's a few problems. I don't think that people understand what the game is. I mean from a most base perspective, the box art is fucking awful. So like when you see it it is awful. It's terrible box art.
The old footprint.
And when you see it in a store, it's like, all right, like, and I've said it before, it's like that. Like that is a great game, but that box art sucks.
He's talking about Resistance 3.
And like it's like that's boring. Like I remember seeing it for the first time. Like, this is awesome. If you have any idea what the Chimera are and like all that kind of stuff, well, who's gonna pick that off of the shelf? Ali Moss is a great artist, but that's not a good look for your box art. So that was the first thing I noticed about Evolve. I'm like, that is an awful logo and an awful way to portray the game. And I do agree that the game is more like the 4-on-1 asymmetric thing is so weird to some people that they had to over explain it. And there's just other games to play. Like I don't
wade out into it being really complicated. You know what I mean? And granted, that works for Dota and League, and I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to knock games that really have a lot to do, but when you're sitting there to a console audience trying to explain the differences in each one of these classes and how these weapons work and how, I mean, it was like, it's a lot to take in. And when your game isn't something fun to jump into, then you immediately start. What Left 4 Dead always did amazingly was like, you are a dude or a dudette, grab a gun and fucking try to survive, make it to the next safe house. That's it. Over time, you're like, oh, I like this gun better, I like this gun. But there wasn't like a skill to learn and how to interact with each other. It was like, you could all have shotguns and be fine. You could all have different weapons and be fine. There's different things to it, where this one is so about, let's all communicate perfectly. Yeah. Let's all do this. All right, you're doing that. I'm going to put up the bubble shield, lock him in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
which from my point of view is fun, and it's fine because like I could just have my group of friends, or I just, you know, I'll just look over at Twitch and I'm like, guys, jump on in, let's do this. But like a lot of people don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
And I know
Friends. Such a luxury.
But I know they wanted to take like a very, I appreciate the fact that there's like depth with like the weapons and stuff, but I don't know, they just want to take a very like esports approach to it, and I feel like you kind of,
it's a game when like people are going to try to do that and someone's going to hit it and make it work, but it's just like, that was
like
the risk coming
tailored
in.
more towards like the common folk.
Yeah.
I mean, earlier you're saying that like Destiny kind of eased console gamers into the MMO idea and stuff. So it sounds like Evolve just didn't do a good job of easing them into the, it's like kind of MOBA-esque. It's not so much a MOBA.
I mean, you look at, that's a great example, right? Of like Destiny, like most MMOs, right? Begins with, you can play up to like level 30. You can beat the game and whatever, be up to level 20, I guess is what it was, right? At launch. And like be great. And then it's like at the time, by you get that point, you've started to get like the breadcrumbs of working with other people and doing other things. And then if you're into that and you've made friends playing the game on the same level as you, that's when you can start going into these bigger things with bigger people.
Yeah, I just felt like they gave too much away. There was like alpha after alpha, then beta, and it's just like everyone could. I mean, I appreciate it as a streamer, like everyone could play it and stream it and stuff, but I just felt like when the game came out, I was like, I already played this game. Like I experienced all there is to experience with this game already.
Yeah, I think, and this goes back to the point of being like, it's a huge gamble to make a game like this, because Evolve is meant to be a game like Destiny in the sense that like this is a game you play and you like collect people to play it, and it's a persistent platform that you play on. And when there's only so many players with so much time to dedicate to so many things, and when you have big guys out there like Destiny and Call of Duty and Battlefield, like you can't compete. That's why I don't even understand like what, like that's why Titanfall failed. You know, like Titanfall is going to there's going to be a sequel, but Titanfall certainly didn't meet expectations. They like the guy, we read that story last week where they were like, one of the guys was like, the biggest regret was that we weren't on more platforms. We couldn't be.
That was why Titanfall didn't take off. Yeah. Just not enough people could play it.
And there was no meat on the bone for a lot of people and stuff like that, which was a problem too. And Titanfall looked fun, and it's not my kind. Was fun. And it's not my game. It's not my kind of game, so I'm not going to to say one way or the other whether it's good or not. I don't know. But it wasn't a game that caught on, because for lots of people, really almost immediately. I remember reading on NeoGAF, like even on the PC version, like where people were like, they couldn't find games like after 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's a huge danger when you're stepping into that space. You better make sure your game's really fucking good, and then you have a marketing push and all these kinds of things, which Destiny did. I think Destiny, again, in hindsight, was really brilliant in the way it approached it. It went silent for a long time. It came back with the beta, or the alpha and the beta. It got people involved in the game. People were really hard on it in the beginning. Then they realized what the hook was, the carrot in front of the dog, as it were. So I think that, I don't know. I think that there's much to love about that kind of game, but what's the point of making another one when you can't compete with Destiny or Call of Duty?
Carrot in front of the dog.
The dog's running after the carrot, right?
Donkey.
I thought it was a horse.
Oh, it was a horse.
No, don't they put it is a horse. Yeah, the dog wouldn't eat carrot. What do they put in front of the? Oh, they put a rabbit in front of the dog at the racetrack.
Right.
Mixed analogy.
Yeah.
Mixed metaphor.
That's
you understand what I'm saying?
You got to put the cow before the horse in this one. Anyways, all right. So going to the other games, other systems that come out. What else has stood out to you guys in 2015? I think for me, Majora's Mask coming out on 3DS was a big surprise for a lot of people that it even happened. And
did it all happen really quick? I can't remember.
What's up?
Did that get announced in 2015 and then come out?
Not in 2015. No, It was announced late 2014.
Okay.
But the fact that it even came out in 3DS, I'm pretty astonished that they actually did that.
Finally acknowledging the best.
What's crazy is I think from news perspective is that I read a couple days ago that's one of the best-selling Zelda handheld games already. And
I believe it.
I was at Best Buy yesterday, and they were sold out of it. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. So, that's cool. Sounds like 3DS is
the order disappointed, but I think the order, people watching the industry had their doubts about the order and how that was going to pan out to begin with from the jump, right? So I don't know if
Well, at least one person did.
I don't know how many few people were thinking it was going to come out and be a AAA 10 or something like that, right? Like people understood that was where it's going. While we record this, we don't know anything about Bloodborne. We haven't popped that in and seen what's happening with it, so who knows?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been quiet, but I expected it to be quiet. You know what I mean?
Did IDARB come out this year, or did we just play
No, IDARB came out this year.
IDARB came out this year. And that's what I was going to say. Is there are actually quite a few good small games that came out that I think. I lost a lot of time to Whoa Dave, which is like just a really bizarre Super Mario the original arcade game clone. Helldivers is awesome.
When it doesn't eat your shit.
Why is Helldivers eating your shit?
Because it's broken.
Citizens of Earth came out this year, which was pretty interesting. Ironclad Tactics was interesting. Like there were small, Starships came out. There's smaller games, and Starships I wouldn't really call a small game, but there are smaller games that have come out that I think are filling in the kind of the crevices nicely. But I still think Dying Light was the champion of Q1 by far, and I think that I'm trying to think to make sure I'm not like overstating it. Yeah, Hotline Miami 2's out, but I think Dying Light might be my game of the year so far.
Damn.
Because that game really grabbed me, and it was such a pleasant surprise. This is why I don't even read preview coverage, and why I hated writing previews at IGN, was because when I knew I was interested in a game, the preview beat's like my least favorite thing. If I could have never written previews, I would have been totally glad to do that, because when I'm interested in a game, I don't like to read about it or know much about it. And Dying Light was one of those games that I knew so little about that I didn't even know I would care about it. And when I've said before, when Greg described it as Mirror's Edge, which I didn't like that much, to like Dead Island meets Mirror's Edge, I was like, that sounds fucking awful, you know. And I played it. I'm like, this is great. This is great game. You know, I can't recommend Dying Light enough.
No, it's awesome.
It's really, really surprisingly good, surprisingly great, I would even say. So I still think that's kind of the champion of Q1. But things will pick up.
Yeah,
we're gonna get weird games at weird times. Like we're getting Batman in June. I mean, that's a weird game to get at a weird time.
Metal Gear in September.
Yeah, Metal Gear in September. We're getting big games at at weird times. Mad Max.
Battlefield in March was weird.
Yeah, Battlefield. Battlefield's out.
Yeah, forgot about that. So how's that going?
It's like Battlefield 4, but a lot more fast paced, which I appreciate. I was never a Battlefield guy that liked the big conquest maps with 64 people and all the vehicles. It was cool, but I was more like, I like the gameplay mechanics of Battlefield. Just give me a smaller map and quick to engage scenarios.
How many hours have you put into it?
A lot so far.
Good.
Probably like 20 plus.
When did you
Multiplayer
get
and
it?
single player. Got it recently, but
Not super recently. 20 hours already.
Well, I've been playing like the beta
Young
and stuff
buck.
like that.
Oh,
already,
okay.
so.
We're counting the beta. So
Yeah,
that makes
and
sense.
surprisingly, the campaign is, it's decent. It's a Battlefield campaign, so I don't
surprisingly
expect much.
it's decent.
It's like I'm playing through it, and I'm not like, I want to turn it off in terms of campaign. So
Cool.
So far.
Also, kind of funny games launched in quarter one.
Sure, that has exceeded expectations.
Changed the landscape of video games.
Totally destroyed.
Sure did.
forever.
Sure, it changed something.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Q1. I'll say this about Q1. Q1 has been stronger than usual. People are finding their niches to release games at weird times, like we said. Dying Light would have not sold how well it sold if it was released in November, so it was a smart time. And I'm not even sure I would have paid attention to that game if it was released in the fall period, in the holiday period. So I think that we're going to see stronger quarters across Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 are all going to be stronger going forward every year, because I think people are starting to realize you don't have to shoehorn your fucking game into November because it's AAA or whatever. You can find space to breathe, and people will pay attention to your game, as we've talked about in previous episodes of Gamescast, if you find the right place to release them. So I think Q1 shaped up really nicely just based on this kind of changing paradigm. Yeah.